Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei Al Bob, me, your griot, here to tell you a story. I was on just an hour or so ago, and I said I'd be back because I'm going to be out in the deep green for the next few days. I'm not going nowhere. I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to worry about what people are saying or what's going on. But so I thought I'd give you a little insight. I'm telling you, mm, olive. Mm. Anyway, so we just have to look at what's going on, right? Look at what's going on in your neighborhood. Whatever's going on in your neighborhood is going on in the rest of the world. When you watch your PTA, your state legislator, your mayor, any of those kind of elected officials, they're as corrupt as anybody else. Everyone's taking money under the table. Look where the money is coming from. Look where it's going to. You know what's going on. So you look at Ukraine. Baby, baby, please. And people always get dissed and misled. And it's really sad. It really is.
There's a life-changing hair growth method that works like crazy, and now the whole world is talking about it. If you suffer from hair loss, receding, thinning, or
was crushed by the weight of its own So for the rest of my life, a dictatorship with a litany of human rights abuses is going to be waiting to throw me in prison. Because that's what it takes to tell this story.
You're talking about Armenia.
And if that's what they'll do to me, imagine what it's like living here.
About Armenia.
What gives you the right to live where you are? To sell land, to grow your crops, to raise your children in a place that you think is yours? What gives you that right? It might sound like a complicated answer, but it's actually quite simple. It's force. Guns. Every law we've ever made, every agreement we've ever come to, every nation carved out of the dust, it's all guns. Might makes right. No matter how peaceful your nation may be, the only reason you're there is because of guns. The people of Karabakh understand a world where force can take away everything in an instant. They're indigenous to this region and have likely lived here for over 10,000 years. This area of the Caucasus is so closely associated with their inhabitation that it's deemed Greater Armenia in almost every language on Earth. Whether you call it Ararat, Ararti, Armenian, Armenia, or Haik, they've been here so long that the Old Testament treats them as ancient. Armenians fought Babylon. They fought Pompey Magnus and Alexander of Macedon. They fought Genghis Khan, Tamerlane, and the Mamluks. They trembled before the Ottomans and Stalinist Russia. Their entire history is a history of dying so that other people can live. And within that world of war, the region of Karabakh is the only place where they've never been completely forced from their land. While elsewhere in the region that bears their name, exile and genocide have driven them from their ancestral homes. In the Karabakh, they've never truly left. The people here call themselves donkeys because they're so stubborn. Nobody tells them what to do, not even Mother Armenia. The EU doesn't recognize them as a nation. Russia doesn't recognize them as a nation. The US doesn't recognize them as a nation. But they're still here. And if you want to remove them, you're going to need some serious guns. Unfortunately, Azerbaijan has those guns, and they're not afraid to use them. Because they too think this land is theirs, and they've spent more money than Armenia could ever dream of to convince the governments of the world that they're right. To understand how it got to this point, though, let's go back a bit in history. Although this story goes back thousands of years and this region has seen independence and destruction on loop a dozen times or more, for the sake of brevity, I'm going to focus on the last few generations alone. At the outset of World War I and the Russian Revolution, Armenians faced a historically difficult situation. To the east, a Turkish nationalist uprising had started a slaughter of minorities so brutal it led to the creation of the word genocide. To the south, a collapsed Persian empire that had once served as a protector of the Armenian people was crushed by the weight of its own internal divisions. And to the north, the Russian Revolution was in full
This is
swing,
what Ukraine is going to look like.
replacing the dictatorial czar with a dictatorial Soviet. In the middle of this were a people with a little identity to call their own. They'd spent so long in other empires, split between rulers, that they barely saw themselves as a people. The genocide changed that. Depending on who you believe, Ottomans killed between 30 and 70% of all Armenians. And yet, even with those numbers, people from just a few hundred miles away would have been completely unaware it was even happening. It remains one of the most denied atrocities in history. Turkey is so opposed to it becoming internationally recognized that they even murdered one of their own journalists for suggesting reconciliation. In 2007, no less. But as awful as it was, it hardened those who survived it. The Armenians have a saying, "We fight ourselves until the knife touches the bone, then we unite." And in the face of mass ethnic cleansing, a people separated by borders, language, and history began to once again see themselves as united. The knife was touching the bone. And out of this garden watered with blood, a hero arose. Garrigan Nezhda is perhaps the most important man
You should
in
read
modern
his
Armenian
writings.
history. He was the nationalist spark that lit the fire of independence. His writings, actions, and political will aimed to stave off the complete collapse of his people and to create a state to call their own. It would be no exaggeration to say that his writings changed the world. Hundreds of thousands of Armenians who'd imagined themselves as nothing more than Soviets woke up to their identity. For Armenians in Moscow, Baku, Turkey, America, Argentina, and everywhere else they've been exiled, his words rang out like a bell. Come together, defend your people, fight until you're free. And for the briefest few months in 1921, he'd run an independent republic here in the hills. But as strong as Nezhda was, he couldn't change the world. A few thousand civilian soldiers cannot stop a superpower, no matter how zealous they are. That didn't mean he ran. This wasn't a politician in exile telling his boys back home to die for his cause. He was leading from the front lines, and he would fight anyone who took away his idea of independence. He fought the Turks with the Tsar, and he fought the Soviets with Hitler. It didn't matter who his allies were, so long as they said when the dust settled, his people would have a homeland. But promises are nothing without the guns to back them up.
Yep. Promises are nothing without the guns to back them up. But that's an illusion. That the only truth is love's co-creation. And if you read that guy's stuff, he was talking from love, but he was stuck in a war zone. So, instead of, and he had limited resources, so he wasn't just going to use them till it was dead and then no one would remember, right? So, anyway, that's what we're looking at. And, the guy, so I'm watching everybody here in Ukraine, and I'm listening to all these people who say they know what they're talking about, So, like, this guy here.
Over at the State Department meeting with Madeline Albright. So we come back to New York City and we get summoned to the U.S. Embassy, to the U.S. mission. Bill Richardson is the ambassador. We're up at Bill Richardson's office. It's hard for them to back down. It's one thing to have a general go to the White House and whisper in the president's ear.
Not Ritter.
It's a loaded gun. It's another thing for the president to be in Brussels, having committed to this narrative, and then be confronted by a fellow NATO member saying, "Man, Russia's such a big deal. We have no choice now but to put a peacekeeping force into Western Ukraine." And so there's the danger that the United States may be getting caught in a trap of its own making, boxed into a corner based upon its own rhetoric. We're just living in a very dangerous time. This is, we're fraught with uncertainty. The only thing that is certain, in my opinion, is the Russians are winning this war, and they're winning it in a big way.
So do you hear that much from anybody?
The other common factor or common thread between Syria and Ukraine is you have a very...
So that they can fight the Russians over here Ukrainians trained by NATO for the sole purpose of killing Russians in Donbass.
This is the base that's referred to kind of as an international peacekeeping center that was close to the Polish border, where possibly 100 foreign fighters from the so-called Foreign Legion were killed that you're referring to. But what Russia has maintained, and what was pretty apparent, was that this was a de facto NATO base inside Ukraine, which is technically not a member of NATO. So you're talking about de facto NATOization being the main factor in this war.
Absolutely, it's the ultimate objective. I mean, Russia. This war was predicated by NATO's appetite for eastern expansion, eastward to include Ukraine.
And the
Russia
first
has
female
long said this is a red
American
line. William Burns,
Secretary of
former US
State,
ambassador,
Madison
2008,
Albright,
Chris
she died
Cummings
just the
said
other day.
Ukraine and Georgia that said yeah means yeah, no means no. And he accurately outlined the Russian objectives. He said these objectives actually are solid, meaning they're not fanciful. We've got to take this seriously. And he said, this was written, I believe, in February of 2009, he said, if we fail to respect the Russian position, they will eventually be compelled to take military action that will destroy Ukraine. And Ukraine will lose Crimea and the Donbass as a result. Now, this is before 2014, before the annexation of Crimea became reality, before Russian separatists decided to peel away Donbass.
So this guy, Scott Ritter, right? He's the guy who, before we went into Iraq in 2003, with the excuse of weapons of mass destruction, he was an inspector, and he said, no. They have no weapon. No, it's a lie. This is, watch out. We're going into a war that, and we went into a war, and we ended up killing 1 million Iraqis. 1 million. And destroying that country and destroying Afghanistan. Look what's happening with the Taliban. 25 years later, they're back with a vengeance. Girls can't go to, and we're down with that. JoJo just split, right? All he had to do was keep 2,500 guys there and about 20 A-10s. And, look how long we've been in Korea, how long we've been in Japan. We've been in Japan since 45. In Okinawa, we have 100,000 guys there. So, just look who's making the money, where's the empire going, and you're expendable. You have to realize you're expendable. So you might as well wake up and do what the Armenians do. And they basically don't kill recklessly. They organize within their own little communities and keep things tight. There's nothing tight about what's going on around us, right? We are easy pickings. And, in 2015, when I was the community activist, coordinator, action coordinator, I had to sing every Tuesday at this church called Action Tuesday, where I make a big pot of soup and I'd bake some bread. People, and I said, you can come in here and talk about it, lecture, do whatever you want, as long as it has a positive thread in it, as long as you're going in a positive direction, right? And that's what, we have to start doing our best, being our best, not just that's what sees on TV. What new shirt can I buy? What can I get at Amazon? Sorry, that's not going to wash, not going to work, not going to be what it is, right? So come on, wake up. So I am may or may not be back here on the YouTube tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, but the next 4 or 5 days you'll see me again. And again, thanks for the 4 of you who are always sending me something on my PayPal that shows me that it still works. And folks send me, everyone who watches this, the 500 or 600 people who watch this a month, he just sent me $12, $15. That's the smallest amount that my cadre of 4 sent me. It's $15. That's the smallest amount, right? And so if you do that, if like 50 of you did that, $15, that would be, I'd be in clover. If 100 of you did that every month, $15, $1,500. I could get my car fixed. I might even be able to get a better car. Definitely be able to afford gasoline right now. Not so much. That's one of the limiting things is the cost of gasoline for me. I mean, we're just so to last Sunday was the first day of spring. Things are my garden really won't be producing anything until July. But the woods is pushing out stuff. As soon as the dandelion's coming up, that'll be my main thing I'm going to be eating. And that's a good thing for me. So, like today, I had breakfast at that place. I probably want to have breakfast again. And because it was okay, but not really that great. It wasn't great. It was okay. The grits sucked. And I could have said, oh, I hate these grits, take them back. But, they gave me like a cup about that big of grits and charged me $2. So, it's kind of what it is. But I'm in my 70s, and, if I keep being disciplined and staying in homeostasis, I could probably live another 20 years, right? But I'm only doing that because, I died in 2014 and realized, went up life review and everyone's patting me on the back and put a little hat on my head and blowing things and confetti and everything. And then they said, you got to go back. What? Got to go back? Well, yeah, you can die and you can take it easy, but then you'd have to go in the blender of karma. And yeah, you've done everything you said you would for about 80%. Still got another 20% to go. 1% a year. But I'm pretty sure if I just keep doing my best, no matter whenever I go, they'll be happy, right? So that's why I'm talking to you guys. That's my ulterior motive. I'm supposed to be here. There are morons who constantly, because I was a guy who could write grants, I was a guy who could make things. You got to help. The most important thing is public radio. Why aren't you involved? Your life is a waste. You need to write letters. You need to that. Well, every place I go, and there's a public radio station nearby, I go and visit it. I talk to the station manager. I see what they're doing. I, talk to them like their Dutch uncle. That to me is more progressive than, I've sent 40 letters this year. I am really doing something. Has it changed anything? No. But I sent 40 letters. Oh, and I talked to Governor Larry, and he actually listened to me. Oh, really? Did he do anything? No, but he spent 25 seconds with me and said, I was an interesting person. Okay. And all I want to do is tell you what, that is how you're not writing a letter, you're a useless person. No, you didn't talk to Governor Larry for 25, you're a useless person. Oh, you talk to 10, 15 people a day and you change their life forever. Oh, that's a waste of time. Good luck with that. Anyway, so thanks again for you stalwart four, the Magnificent Four. Like I said, there's at least 500 of you who watch regularly every month. You couldn't just send me $15. Come on. $15 is like a breakfast. That's what I paid for breakfast. Then they wanted me to, we made a mistake. The bill we gave you and you signed, we made a mistake. It's really $30. I said, no, it isn't. It's $14. It's $15. That's what it is. Oh no, we've already sent it in. And I said, let me speak to Magic. Sorry, it's not our fault that we made the mistake. It's not our fault, but you had to pay for it. No, I don't. Is the owner here? Oh, I want him to get me the owner. But then I used my outside voice. Hey, I put 1,000 times louder, so it resonated through everyone's skull. Okay. Go get the owner. And the owner came out and he was wearing the smock. He was like doing the dishes because the dishwasher hadn't shown up. I said, so you're the owner? Yeah, one of them. I'm the one here. So, oh yes, I understand. Don't worry about it. I'll take that off. You only pay the $15, right? Squeaky wheel, right? But that was just breakfast. If 100 of you that, got thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month, You can afford to send your really, really poor people are sending it. You know, you want to be as a slug compared to really, really poor people. They know the value of their Sensei Al Bob. They're actually changing their lives because they know the value of their Sensei Al Bob. Well, if you think I'm just entertaining all people, that's fine because it's, and if this is shamanic ceremony I'm doing, it's going in your head, it's going to change you to do the best. You may not get anything out of it, but the world will. So that's why I do this. And that's, I had to come back and, keep slogging away. And, but every day I live the life of a millionaire on $400 a month. But it'd be a little easier, at least for you guys. You'd see me more. My car would be in better shape. I'd be able to afford, fuel. All those other things. So that's up to you. I'm just going to keep doing this the best I can. That's all I do. My best. And doing my best is like 900% better than 999.99% for everybody else. And I can't judge anybody else. I can only judge myself. And so I'm here to do my best. So good luck with your life, And I'm not judging you. And all those who do send for Sensei Al Bob something, that I thank you for. Especially my magnificent four, the amazing four. I really love you. I love you all. Don't get me wrong, I do. I hope the rest of you, who've got a pretty good job, probably making over 60, 70 grand. That's if you have no one else in your life, you have no children, no wife, no other bills but yourself, making 70 grand a year. It's pretty good. When I worked for the Desperate Lawyers, I worked 11 weeks of the year and made roughly, I made just under 70. So I would be a certain tax bracket, right? And all the other shit I did, I could write off. So I really, paid, and you look at a guy like Bill Gates and a guy like Jeffrey Bezos, richest man in the world, and they pay no taxes, that's, and they're making, Jeffy made $45 billion more from January 2019 to May of 2020. And it's 45 billion in less than 6 months, 7 months. Oh, compared to your Sensei Al Bob, in 11 weeks of the year making under 70, it's a big deal. But I'm a lot more relaxed. And I'm here to serve Bob's co-creation. Right? So say we all. Right? And that's what I'm looking to do. And I hope you can do it too. And I'll see you when I see you next. So here it is, 23:23. Good time to go. I love you guys. Take it easy. Enjoy this show. Do, 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 do.